Hello and welcome to this Hustle Castle video, and this one will be about, is rushing worth doing or should you completely ignore it? This will only be my take on it, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of people who disagree with the things I'll say, so if you are one of these people then make sure you leave a comment on why you think I'm wrong just before you hit that dislike button. So this will be more of a talking point video, so you can always minimise this and play me in the background or come back to it later when it suits your day best. So what we're going to do is look at the benefits of rushing and then the negatives of rushing, and then I'll have my final conclusion at the end. And just to show you that your comments matter, this video is actually being made because somebody made a really good question, so if you want something answered or want to see something in particular, then make sure you leave your comment at the bottom of this video. Right, so on to benefits. You can get higher fighter levels quicker. This makes it useful if you want to get your fighters ready for a certain level above what you already have or maybe what you got your eyes set on. Items will be unlocked at higher levels sooner, which makes this especially good for events to get higher level gear than what you actually would have got by staying at your throne room. Heroes have their constellations upgraded even further until throne room level 11, which can be maxed out at that point, meaning you can get some really good levels on your hero at lower fighter levels. The next one, you can unlock materials for sets and start collecting them way before you should be able to. This might not seem like a big deal, but collecting materials can take a really long time, so this can actually be a really big benefit for a lot of players. Gem bays and heroes will also be unlocked quicker than other players who take their time and who haven't got to throne room level 8 for the gem bay or throne room 9 for the hero, allowing you to get a head start on those people who haven't actually got to that level yet. Also, the best thing about getting to throne room level 10 is all about those rune events. Once you can have those runes, you basically got them for life because at this current point in time, there's no higher level than level 100, which means you can keep them for as long as you keep playing the game. So what's good about all of this then before we move on to the negatives? This basically allows you to unlock things that you want much sooner than other players. You'll be able to receive higher level gear for your fighters ready for your chosen throne room level, and if you're fortunate enough to get to throne room level 10, then you have the chance of earning runes that you can keep for life over maybe friends who stayed at a lower throne room that when they upgrade their throne room, they will be unfortunately losing out on those runes. So we're now going to look at the negatives. The first big one is going to be it takes a long time to basically level up your fighters, especially to level 100. So even if you rush, you could be waiting weeks to get your whole squad to level 100 unless you want to be paying the price of spending diamonds to speed those things up. If you rush, then events become incredibly hard to get most out of them. You'll miss out on lots of great gear on your way to getting a higher level squad, and things like the Angel Wand would still be pretty strong no matter what level they are, but you still have to try and earn it before you can actually keep it. And with all the new items every month, basically you want to be ready for when the next event comes out. Rooms will cost a lot more to upgrade than you can normally afford comfortably. This could take a long time, especially if you go to throne room level 11 and try and get yourself your mithril rooms built. It's going to cost a lot more than you actually think to upgrade those rooms, so you could be stuck with level 1 stuff for quite some time. Your squads will be terrible for dungeons until you can put some time into them, so the hero will be weak even if you can get them quicker than you actually should have done, and at higher throne room levels. It will still take time to get at least a half decent squad to complete those dungeons to, at least a good extent. Another thing, if you stayed at your throne room level for a few months, you can start to work on your team and actually be good in arena brackets for which one you're in. But by rushing, you're going to want to upgrade your fighters as you go along, and even if you don't, let's say you just leave them at level 50 while you rush and wait to get them all the way up to level 100 at the same time, you could be looking at months to upgrade that whole squad because it takes a lot longer than you think for those higher levels. Another thing, apples cost more with every throne room level up, and not upgrading your rooms with each level can really hurt how much you can actually play the game. Continuing on with their apples, gem bays, clan wars and arenas cost more apples without following up on your buildings. This will cause you to be lacking in events or just generally gaining items, deployments and courage points for the sake of rushing. A big one is if a rune event comes out, which could be considered one of the best events to really go for, and if you do rush, you won't be able to get the most out of the rune events because you just don't have the squad power to do all the other events like arenas, gem bays, dungeons, portals, everything. So unfortunately, unless you pay big time, you won't be getting everything you want from those events. So what's the general bad idea about rushing? Well, for one, your apples will suffer without upgrading those buildings, and if you do that, your rushing will be slower. Your squads will never be able to do arenas comfortably if you go further than one throne room level without spending time on each level to actually get your squad stronger. Events unfortunately would be something to just look at, as you won't be able to really participate in them properly to get the most out of them, and you could be missing out on some really great powerful items and runes just for the sake of rushing. And lastly, your whole clan will suffer as a team, because you won't be able to win arenas, you won't be able to deploy in every single clan war because the apples will cost too much, and even doing PvP fights, you're going to be struggling to do those as well. Because once you upgrade your throne rooms too far, let's say by 2 or 3 levels, you're going to be needing so many more resources than what your builders can actually provide, so you're going to need to be looking for PvP fights. But then by increasing your trophies to look for better players, you're then going to be struggling anyway because your squad isn't strong enough to take on the stronger ones. So unfortunately there's a bit of a downhill spiral by rushing too far. Right, so what do I think about all of this? If you feel you want to rush and that's something that you want to do, I would say find a middle ground and maybe rush one throne room every month and then spend your time on your squad for at least that time. But I wouldn't rush the whole way. Even after one throne room level up, and when you start increasing your squad level, you're going to be the weakest guy on the block and really feel like a punching bag when it comes to arenas. But that doesn't mean you can't prepare for it by sticking at, let's say, throne room 6 and saving up enough arena courage points to buy 3 artifacts, then upgrade your throne room to, let's say, level 8. This will help you buy 1 to 2 artifacts once you get to that throne room level. At least that will give you a small boost over anyone else that has rush by being able to get those artifacts. But if you keep going and increase your throne room more than once a month, then you're really going to find it a bit of a boring game, always losing the majority of your arenas, struggling in gem bays because you haven't spent enough time upgrading the right people. Dungeons will not be fun and hard to even complete a few waypoints unless you have a friend to carry you, and portals will even be a struggle until you put effort into your team, and events will be extremely difficult to get the most items without actually spending a lot of money to boost yourself, and you might not even get the items they actually want even by spending money. A great tip would be to set a throne room level 8 and get the most out of gem bays before making your way up to throne room level 11. No matter how much time you put into gem bays, you're always going to be needing more time into it in the long run, even if it's 6 months or even a year down the line. The worst thing that I've seen is that I've seen plenty of players who rush to throne room level 11 but have less than 2 million squad power, and they even have set pieces at the same time. But they will never be good enough to even within a few months because of all the struggle and grinding that they will be forced to do to get to a similar level as other players around them. I will say that there's no correct way of if you think you should or shouldn't rush, but they both come with benefits and negatives, but at the end of the day it's down to the player, it's down to yourself, and it's what you want to get out from the game. If you've only just started but you love the look of the hero and that's all you care about, then just go for it. Get yourself there and enjoy the game. If you like grinding to the point where you can get top 3 spots in arenas most times and completing your gem bays every time you do them, then stick with that. Once you play this game for long enough, you'll slowly start to feel like you're playing it on autopilot. So once you find the way you like to play the game, or something about the game you really enjoy, then just stick with it. And it doesn't matter at the end of the day what anyone else says, it's your account and you just enjoy the game, you want to enjoy it. Please leave a like if I have explained this well enough, I really hope I have, and leave a comment if I've missed anything that could help other players out. If you didn't enjoy this video, then just before you hit that dislike button, leave a comment on what you think I said was wrong, and tell me what you think other players should do instead. Just before we get to the end of the video, I wanted to say I have actually started this Patreon page, which you may have heard of. If you haven't, then I'll leave a link below where you can actually get some great benefits by going there, and it would also really help the channel out. And if you already know about Patreon, then let me quickly say this. Nothing will change about this YouTube channel and how you see my videos, it's just the way you guys can say thank you for what I'm doing, and if we can get enough people together, then I can actually make this into a proper job and spend more time making more videos and getting better quality stuff out there for you. So yeah, if you've made it this far, then you are truly awesome, and I really hope to see you in the next one, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your day.